thing in Las Vegas is horrifying, and of course we feel, you know something. When you sit there and you say we feel terrible, I'm going to personally say this, and I'm going to be honest. I honestly don't give a fuck. Now, let me explain this. I'm talking from a completely emotional standpoint. I'm not talking about, like, from a logical standpoint, I care greatly and I'm very sorry that it happened. I can say that, but emotionally, I feel nothing. I don't know anybody that was killed. They weren't any of my family members, and I really don't care. I'm sorry that 59 people are gone, and the people that were injured, and it says here that he worked as a letter carrier.
Well, there's
Isn't that a fucking surprise?
Right.
And an IRS agent in the 70s and 80s. So there you go, folks. I don't know if we have to discuss
More
this
bureaucracy.
Do we have to discuss this any further?
It's the bureaucracy that drove him crazy.
ISIS has claimed revenge. So says. Now I'm reading the Drudge Report. So all you fucking liberals don't have to get crazy, but because it's got the news in like a nice, easy, readable format without a lot of shit jumping out at you, like any other website. It's crazy. But it says here that ISIS claims revenge. I don't think ISIS had anything to do with this, as much as they'd like it. They'd like to take the credit. This guy wasn't.
No, ISIS is just fucking,
He's
turning the fucking knife a little bit that's already been stuck there by him. You know what I mean? They're just reminding you that they're there and that, fucking 50 or 60 of your people are dead,
But out of 320 million. Now, am I wrong, Al? I mean, how do you feel? 320 million people, 59 people get shot. Not really a big deal on the whole population front.
Yeah, look, those people all have families, and there's a lot of people in pain in the country right now. You know what I mean?
On a strictly a rational level, I understand that, but I can't get emotionally worked up about it.
I mean,
I certainly don't want it happening. I wish it never happened. I wish it never happened. I hope it never happens again.
All right, listen, this is
but I don't care.
Yeah, this is how I feel about it.
If I got to be honest.
Yeah, this is concise and to the point. I mean, if you attend a Jason Aldean concert in the middle of the desert outside, don't you pretty much deserve to die by automatic gunfire?
Well, one, I didn't know they were at a concert.
Yeah, it was a concert, Joe.
And I'm so out of it. I don't know who Jason Aldean is.
Jason Aldean is the biggest country star, and I'm actually a huge fan. I actually like his music, but I like the line.
Who he is.
I just crafted a good line. You know what I mean?
Yes, you did.
I mean, I really don't feel that way, but I kind of feel that way. I said the same thing about the station nightclub fire 20 years ago. I don't know if you remember that in war. And we actually knew meaning some of my cohorts knew some people who lost their lives in that.
Wasn't that the band was like White?
It was Great White.
Great White.
And I had seen Great White like the year before at Great Woods, which is a shed for those of you who aren't from around here.
Yeah, they had one big hit, which I don't remember, but
I can't remember. Once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah. Hey, good for
and my thing about that was, if you're gonna go see Great White in a nightclub that holds 200 people.
You can't say they deserve.
Don't you pretty much deserve to die a fiery death?
No, that's terrible. You can't say that.
Yeah, why not?
Awful.
I can say whatever I want, Joe. This is America.
You can.
As long as I don't threaten anybody.
You can. But that doesn't mean that someone's not going to come to your house.
It's observational humor.
So we want to avoid that.
Yeah.
So if the guy in the underwear grabbing his cock right now is thinking about coming out and harming Al or I. Please don't.
Well,
one person listening to this.
What's interesting about
we're just basically having a conversation with ourselves. You realize that?
That's fine. Which is why I can say these awful things.
Right, because we know no one's ever going to listen to this.
And you know I'm not awful. Well, no. I'm kind of awful, but you know I'm not that awful.
Not awful at all. You're a wonderful person.
You too, Joe. But
you got a big heart.
I think what this is opening up, and certainly in, the minds of people who straddle the fence as far as gun control goes. There was a story or a quote from one of the guitar players from one of the other bands who said, man, I'm a huge, and I'm paraphrasing, man, I'm a huge Second Amendment guy, and I always have been. Our crew all carries guns, and there was nothing they could do. So he goes, my feelings about gun control are almost changed 180 now. In other words, what he's saying is the right to bear arms. A lot of people who are Second Amendment people argue that if you had a gun, if the teachers had guns, they could have fucking prevented Sandy Hook, that type of thing. You know what I mean? Everyone should be packing. And
we got the take them all away argument, and which is one of the problems I have in our country here is that there's never any fucking middle ground. It's take them all away, or everybody ought to fucking have one. Well, there's probably somewhere in the middle is about right. And my understanding is this. First of all, the guy had illegal weapons because they were illegal.
I'm not sure all of them were.
I'm not sure all.
Certainly,
some were illegal.
Certainly some of them were.
And he had 23. I read somewhere today that he had. It could be wrong. 23 of these fucking weapons, whatever they are, and he shot and killed 59 people. That's what we know. What to do about it, I don't know. Do you like Jim Jeffries, the comedian?
I'm familiar with him. I'm familiar enough to say, he's my favorite, or I don't like him. I know who he is, and he makes me chuckle. But
you get everything Comcast has to offer.
Everything, yeah.
Do you have Netflix?
I got everything, man.
Jim Jeffries, you'll piss yourself laughing.
Okay.
I'm telling you. And Jim, if you're listening, which we know you're not.
Unless you're listening to it on archive 10 years from now.
Yeah. Well, later on down the road. Who knows? One of us may do like a murder-suicide deal. Maybe in this podcast.
Jesus Christ.
But, he's from Australia. At any rate, the point was he's from Australia. And I guess there was a big shooting in Australia, and they took all the fucking guns away.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And there's been no mass shooting since. And the deal is, whichever side you're on.
Doesn't Australia have the same amount of people as, like, Rhode Island or Wyoming or some shit?
Yeah, it's like the Canada, the Canada of 30 million people. So they're 10% of the U.S. population.
Listen, the United States is still the Wild West, man. Now, I realize Australia probably has a similar...
It's not the Wild West.
It's the Wild West. It still is. It's not fucking Europe, man.
It's just not. Well, no, it's not Europe, but it's not Wild West either. I mean, if you look at proportionally, the amount of people that die from gun deaths as a percentage of population is pretty small. I mean, these things don't happen every day. They happen. And 59 people is a lot, but if you divide 59 into 320 million, it's a very small percentage of the population. That doesn't make... That's somebody's husband, wife, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, and that's where on the non-emotional level, I get it. And when I say, I'm just being brutally honest when I say I really don't care. I mean, I don't care. My emotion didn't change. I'm being brutally honest. Didn't sway one bit when I heard it.
I didn't shed a tear either, Joe.
I didn't cry. I didn't hug my dog. I kind of went, oh, that's terrible. So maybe I had a little emotional moment. So I cared emotionally a tiny fraction, maybe. But unlike these people who get on TV and pretend that they fucking care, like these politicians, and then they all have to, you ever notice that? They all have to fucking talk.
They all got to chime in, man.
There's 17 people, and they all have to have their 15 minutes on the fucking stand.
Because you gotta pander to your base. That's what they accuse the president of always doing.
You
Pandering to his base, whatever the fuck that means.
I mean,
they're all
Jesus
pandering
Christ.
to their base as well.
You got the governor and then the mayor. So you can kind of understand the governor and the mayor. And then you have the fucking water department superintendent. And, you know, okay. You've got let's think of this seriously. You got the governor, he's going to come out and say something. Fine. You got the mayor, he's going to come out and say something. He's got to. I mean, everybody, if the mayor didn't come out, the governor didn't come out, everybody would be saying, where's the fucking mayor and the governor? You probably want to hear from whatever law enforcement agency is doing the investigation. And that's it. You don't want, who the fuck else has to chime in? But then you'll have these, like superintendent of water and sewer for Las Vegas talking about how much she cares or he cares about what happened. And, they're going to do their best to stop it. But as far as the guns go, I don't know, it's very simple. I mean, you got to change the Constitution if you want to. The problem is, there's case law. I mean, we're a nation of laws, so you can't get all emotional and say take all the guns away. It doesn't work. I mean, if you want to take all the guns away, then you have to change the Constitution. And in order, everybody knows, well, you're supposed to know the deal. I believe you need a 2/3 majority from the Senate and Congress. Is that right?
Well, I'm going to have to look it up.
It's got to be ratified by either a majority or supermajority of the states. And a supermajority is like
60% I believe, right?
60%.
So whatever 60% of 50 is.
And that's how you change it, and you can take all the guns away. But I don't know. Both you and I are familiar with guns. I don't own a gun. And I don't know if do you own a gun?
No, I used to own one for a few years. I had a handgun. I used to carry one once in a while for looks, unloaded when I was doing PI work. If I was in a rough neighborhood or something, I would wear it openly on my hip because I could. As long as I checked in with the local law enforcement agency, which here in Massachusetts is the local police. We don't, sheriff here means fucking jail keeper. It doesn't mean any police work. Like, sheriff can't pull you over or fucking arrest you or whatever.
They're probably making $44 an hour too.
Well, at least to direct traffic, we know that.
Well, you need to pay that much.
Yeah, that's a whole other day, a whole other conversation. Don't talk about $44 an hour down the fucking tubes.
And that's local politics, not that anybody.
But to answer your question,
in Rhode Island would care.
I do not currently own a handgun. I got rid of it when I knew that they were going to make me turn it in after I got arrested for drunk driving a few years ago. So I went down and I sold it to the local gun guy because I knew that they were going to ask me for it, and they did. About 3 months later, they asked me to come turn in my gun license and any of my guns, and I said, I already got rid of the gun because I'm not convinced you're going to fucking give it back to me.
Right. No, I'd probably keep it.
But doesn't matter. I do not own a gun. Like you said, both of us are familiar with guns because both of our fathers were rifle target shooting enthusiasts, right down to making their own bullets and shit.
Right. Insane about it.
I know your father isn't really doing much with the guns anymore, other than writing fucking books about it. Your father's alive.
Can you get me a beer?
Yeah,
out of
sure.
the fridge?
Yeah, I was
We're
gonna
close.
freshen my drink too, but we are both familiar with guns. I am uncomfortable with guns. I shot them as a child and as a teenager. When one of my friends shows me their guns or hands it to me, I don't take it. I don't care that it's empty. But I
Fucking pussy.
believe
You're not a man.
that if you or me or any other law-abiding dude wants to go get a handgun to protect his house or her house, that you should be able to do that. I firmly believe that.
Well, and I think that's what that's the constitutional right to bear arms. You can, you got a nut that comes into your house, you can shoot him. Now, I don't think that happens a lot, but you got that right. And if you got that right, and you want to do it, I suppose you should be allowed to do it.
I do have a massive array of blunt instruments to beat people to death with, however.
Right. Beating someone to death, I don't know if it's any...
They frown on that shit too, but...
Yeah, but you know what? Wouldn't be getting shot in the head be a lot better than being beaten to death?
Well, I'll tell you what,
With a
beating
baseball bat?
beating someone with a pipe is way more satisfying than shooting them, I'll tell you that.
Yes.
Not that I would know.
And you get a good workout while beating them.
Yeah, a good 10, 15 second workout, depending on how crazy you get or how unrecognizable you want them to be at their wake.
Right. How many, if you want to count the teeth coming out of their fucking head. You know, granted, if they don't get the pipe away from you, then beat you with it. So, that's always the...
It's gonna be real hard to get the pipe away from me.